Nothing has improved my camping more than this one philosophy shift. 6 years ago, I bought a single flat pack item. Didn't seem like much at the time, but slowly, as gear wore out, I started replacing everything with flat pack alternatives. Doesn't sound like a big change, but you're about to see the difference these 25 items make at camp is huge. Each item has a specific use at the campsite. I've been collecting these for years, and you're gonna be amazed what fits in these little 2 boxes. So let's start with the easy 3, the ones you probably already have. The first one is a collapsible bucket. This can be a gray water catch off your trailer. We use this to haul water.
Ready? We're gonna go get some water. Head down the path.
Oh yeah.
Oh, who's gonna carry all that back?
Dad. This is also what we use. We line it with a sack, and this is our trash can. You also have square buckets. Many people use these as dishwashing basins. And then we have the dishwashing rack. I used to use the flat rolled up ones that are made of cloth or rubber, but they didn't dry out as quick. I find this more efficient. The air gets through it quicker, dries off fast. And the last one, I actually forgot to bring today, and that is a collapsible 2-3 gallon water jug. And why that's important is you want some way to collect water when you're out here, but not add weight to either the tow vehicle or the trailer on the road. And so that way it collapses flat, you get out here and you can fill that up off the stream. You don't have to filter it if you're showering, washing hands, but if you are drinking it, then you filter that water and you're good to go. Now it'd be fun to show you all of my items, but this is 20 of my favorite, really flat pack items that live big at site, but pack extremely small. Now I'll break this video down into 5 chapters to make this a little easier, which is cooking and heating, toilet and shower, seating and lounging, and miscellaneous. Everything's just cleaner and flatter, but you're probably thinking, well, that means everything is a bit smaller, less ergonomic, not built as well. But what if I told you flat pack gear is not only small, it's actually stronger, more ergonomic, better designed for camping than most of the gear we use. Let's start with the tailgater tire table. Now something this robust and this strong should be heavy, and it should take up a lot of space. But as you can see, the depth is about as small as one of your favorite books. I primarily use this attached to the wheel of my vehicle or tow vehicle as a place to basically stage items as I'm packing and unpacking, making food. But lately, I've been using it here. So I'm not fully setting this up because I want to get to the next flat pack item, but look at how much space for my kitchen area this has gained me. There's a lot of height here, so anything that fits up here fits here. All my pots and pans are down here. As I prep food, it moves from surface to surface depending on where the need is. This has really increased my usable cooking space, and it didn't take up much space in the tow vehicle. This actually, for years, probably 4 or 5 years now, yeah, at least, has been hiding underneath the mattress in the teardrop. Again, not properly set up, but you can see how we use it. So this holds 50 pounds, and it weighs only 6 pounds. I hold my water here, but primarily this is a staging area, like I said. So if you show up to camp and it's wet and muddy, I bring things here, get them ready to move into the teardrop, and I move them from staging table to the next staging table. So speaking of quality of gear and strength, this flat pack gear, because it's designed specifically to pack flat, it typically means there's more thought that goes into it. So items like this not only function better, they last much longer in the field. Now, yeah, I've had this for 6 years and the powder coating's all coming off, but in terms of functionality, this works as good as the day I got it. Another great alternative to this table is a hanging table shelf, and I'll put a link to that in the description. I've never used one, but I've seen them. They make a lot of sense. Well, I did just mention flat pack gear being tough. This one I do baby. It is not on the tough side, but it sure packs a big punch. for how small it is. Do you remember this from past videos? This is our camp table, or really you probably could call it our homeschool table. For 4 years, May and the boys used this table not only for lunches, but for homeschool. And that was for 4 months at a time each of those years. So because this is kind of big and we don't use it every trip, I'm not always taking it out. But when we do take it out, because it flat packs so small, I find I don't have to pack around it. It just goes in like any other piece of gear. And that's pretty nice for a table this big. Then you have this table. This one's less about the table itself and more about organization. So what's neat about this, as you saw when I was carrying it, really light, but yet once you get it set up, this practically doubles your camp kitchen storage space. I can zip it shut to keep out the elements or the bugs, but you can also take the Velcro and keep this held up. What I like about this is it's very deep, but you can also access it from the backside as well. And like anything that's tall, this is going to keep it up off of the ground, away from the water, and again, away from the animals. Now, when I bring out a piece of gear like this, I have gear that I won't use every trip. So then I have to kind of come to that decision. Do I leave it at home or do I bring it and weigh down the tow vehicle, just add more clutter to the campsite, take up more of that space? Or do I find something flat pack that's so small it doesn't even make a dent in my towing capacity, it doesn't make a dent in my space, yet when I need it, I have it. Now on to some of my absolute favorite gear. This old video I'm going to throw up on the screen here is the old fire pit we used to use. And it was the smallest fire pit I could find on the market. Traditional fire pits, like I showed in that video, are heavy, they're bulky, they're hard to store, and we rarely need them every trip. Here's a little tip for you guys. In every fire pit I own, I put a pair of gloves that I only use for this because there's a lot of soot and being able to use this makes this easy, and then I can handle the hot embers, the hot lava rocks, things like that. It comes with these flames. I think they're kind of ridiculous. I do not use them. So with a traditional bulky fire pit, you start wondering, should I even bring it with me? Is it gonna take up so much space and then I'll never use it? But then you wonder, is there going to be a fire ban? And so having something this small that can just fit right under the seat of your vehicle or under your mattress or whatever, it's hard to beat. And then throw on the rocks which hold in the heat. Instead of carrying this bulky fire pit, now I'm carrying a flat pack item that once it's up, the flame output is just as good as any fire pit I've ever seen. It's actually better, you'll see. And now I don't have that regret of carrying around this large propane fire pit and then never using it. I take it a month on the road and don't pull it out once, but it takes up all that space and adds that weight. It just didn't make sense. How about this guy or this guy? Have you seen these yet? These are new to me, maybe even new to you. That flat pack fire pit I just showed you, this is fire, but it's actually a grill. You can cook food on this, and you can take it one step further with this, put a hood over it, and now you have an oven. So this is the hood that makes the oven. These are tongs, but they also become the handle of the hood. The hood has 2 slots here, so you can have it just kind of an 1/8 open, or have it half open. I have never seen a grill in a camp oven with a profile this thin that could slip easily under a seat or into any nook and cranny. You can see my gear piling up out here. But wait till you see how much is still in both of those boxes. I have a lot of stuff to show you, but I'm gonna go lightning round on these next ones. Remember that Biolite stove that I talk about often? Costs way too much, but has amazing simmer control, super small. Well, I think their patent finally ran out because you're seeing more similar items, but I picked up one from Nature Hike. It's a brand you've seen me use a lot. But what I like about this, besides the fact that it packs small, you have two options. It can be a grill, it can be a griddle. And it's more than just being small packing. When you have large pans, they're going to run into the windscreens. This allows you to go a little bigger, build your own windscreen around this. This would be a pretty robust system for camping, yet packing really small. This one, I completely forgot I purchased it in the fall. It was one of those whim purchases. There was no reviews. It was quite a risk, but I think it's gonna pay off. As you can hear, this is steel and aluminum. One pull opens this. You pull out the wind guards, flip it over, and look how deep the burners are within these wind guards. This runs off of both propane and butane. Very robust and very quick to put away. Before showing you my next little stove, you've seen me talk about this. I was kind of forced into it with the Bean having no galley. This is just a flat pack kitchen organizer. All the items stay nice and organized, and because it is nice and narrow and flat, it fits really nice in any bin I throw it in. Next for cooking, we have the Omnia oven. While this might not be a flat pack item, it fits well into this cooking segment. You're not gonna get an oven any smaller than this. That's it, that's the Omnia oven right there. Quite simple. We suggest the silicone liners. That makes cleaning at camp much easier. Now this is obviously not going to be quite as efficient as the Omnia oven, but you can save a lot of money by just buying a metal lid, putting that over your Discata or over the grill you already own, and throw your food under that, and that's also going to work as an oven, and it'll save you a lot of money. Before I talk about the next subject, which is toilets, I talk about them a lot on the channel. I've got a bit of an obsession with camp toilets. I want to first talk about nesting items, items that nest. Now, while having portable grills and camp ovens and all that are nice, it's also nice to have pots and pans that are also space efficient. This is the new pots and pan set from Gerber. Look how nice this stores. So it's this big, but inside it, you've got 4 bowls, a giant salad bowl, cutting board, 4 more plates, this giant, so this is what we're loving. We're now able to make like spaghetti and big dishes at camp that aren't going everywhere and that are easy to clean. A giant, again, saucepan, super thick steel so that you have even heating. But check this out. They have 2 different styles of tops. Both of them have vents for the steam to escape. But what I really like is they both work as strainers. See this strain here? That way you leave your strainer at home. I can strain out all that water, and that just means one less dish to wash at the campsite. I also have another piece of Gerber gear. I want to show you that as well. Flip it over, and it's got a nice oversized bag so I can just cinch it up and get out of here. Well, it's a new day, new shoes, same shirt, a ton of wind, so I'm going to try to minimize the audio issues for you guys, but I'm gonna get through this stuff a lot quicker today. You probably can't hear that, but the coyotes are starting to come out in the background. This is another nesting item of mine from Gerber. About a month ago, I reached my hand in my camp bag and cut my finger on a knife. And then a week later, I reached in and cut my finger on the edge of the tin foil cutter. And so I needed a place to put sharp items. So you have nested in here 2 different cutting boards, 2 sharp Gerber knives, and then all my other sharp items like peelers. I also keep lighters and bottle openers and all that jazz. This took me years to find a portable toilet that laid flat. So your traditional camp toilets, they're bulkier, they're heavier, they're definitely not this thin. And you can go with the plastic toilets, but after about a season or two, all those joining parts, the moving parts tend to break. This toilet, as you can see, it instantly goes up. It's incredibly light because it's made of aluminum. And the aluminum and the wood that this is made of, if it ever did end up in the landfill someday, are things that can break down. Now, what are my issues with this toilet? As much as I love it, because it has a square bottom, you need completely level surface. I have to do a lot of work to get that ground ready, and then I'm just disturbing nature, which I'm not out here to do. And number two, because we're outdoors, and as you can see, I camp out in the middle of nowhere, I like to just have this open air, leave it out in the elements, but this has an MDF top. This is just gonna break down in the rain, and it tells you not to leave it out there. And for me, I love going under the stars. I love letting this be open air. Now there is a cheaper alternative. This is the Thunderbox Ironman 4x4. They make a knockoff of this. It's cheaper. It is actually plastic up top. Wait, check this out. So if this was full for some reason, watch how I can just put it in this tight little spot here. I don't need space. I can just slide it right in where no other gear can go. This next toilet is my new favorite. Now, while this one is a little thicker than the last toilet, it still lays perfectly flat. But the last toilet that was using that particle board, this is hard bamboo. It can be refinished on your own. And this toilet feels even more like my toilet at home. Super fast to set up. Maybe not as fast as the other one because you got to put in these pins. But look it. There's a number of things that set this toilet apart. Number one, it's just beautiful. It's handcrafted, made in Las Vegas. Number two, unlike other toilets that have more of a rounded opening, which is all the toilets I've used, this one has room up front for us guys, for the twig and berries. All the other toilets, you put a biodegradable bag in there, you sit down, and your stuff is touching stuff in the front that it shouldn't be touching. We went with this low size. Many of you like this. They have a standard. This is the small because it gets you at kind of that ergonomical angle. We use it for the kids. So if you set a small child on a tall camp chair, it will tip forward on them. So you have to stand back here while they go to the bathroom. Our boys use this and don't tip over at all. And here's why you don't over purchase biodegradable bags. Just get them once a season, just what you need, because they will start breaking down on their own. This flat pack gear is just so flexible in terms of storage. I can put this or other flat pack gear under the mattress in my trailer. Some of this gear can actually fit under the seat in my tow vehicle. But some of this gear that does pack flat, like this bench, can be beat by other smaller flat pack items that aren't quite as flat. So what do I mean by that? Well, although this is nice and flat, I have some items that I consider flat pack that are a bit more, I don't know, rectangular. This is a bench from Dometic that has replaced this flat pack bench of ours. This bench is so much easier to carry. I use this and this chair on my back every time I go to one of East or Rise soccer games. I'm bringing this tiny little bench and this bag that carries on my back. And so just like a lot of my camping gear, this stuff is doubling up also in regular life. Now check this out. This is a Dometic product. I wanted to not put the bolt back in to just show you guys. On my last trip, the bolts started coming out. So even when you're paying top dollar, some of this stuff, luckily it's field repairable. I would just put a little bit of Loctite on there so it doesn't back out. Well, even when you pay top dollar for something like Dometic, it still falls apart in the field. So I'm always checking my hardware every time I'm packing up from camp because by the end of a season, I have nuts and bolts everywhere. You know, the Lightspeed tent I love, I've raved about for like 6 years. That's how it finally met its maker. I didn't maintain it. Little bolts were coming out and I didn't even notice. And then one day I went to open it and the whole thing just like exploded. So just make sure you're maintaining, obviously, when you're out in the field. I feel like one of these days you guys are gonna spot like a mountain lion or something behind me that I'm not even seeing. This is another piece of camp furniture that's big and bulky and comfortable at sight, but as you can see, very thin. This is from Dodd. It sets up like most of your camp chairs. They just designed it to lay a bit flatter. Now that I think about it, I don't know if it's actually Dodd, D-O-D, but it's a brand I've been trying out the last couple years and it's been holding up well. I think one of those tables might have been Dodd earlier. I look for the bunny logo. This chair, if you look how high the back is. I got boots on and it's coming not quite to my waist. When I sit in it, it is really deep. It just kind of surrounds me like a bigger camp chair, yet it packs smaller than most of its size. This is gonna sound ridiculous, but every inch matters when your space is limited. So this chair, which I love, the FlexLite Macro chair, it's a big chair at camp, but packs smaller than this one in terms of physical size. But because it's not flat, this one's going to pack faster, less Tetris than using something like this. And it's going to let me put more into a smaller space because when everything has that nice right angle, everything's flat, there's no wasted space like you get with these rounded edges between items. Some of my flat pack furniture is inflatable. This one even floats on water. Some of my flat pack items replace an entire camp shower. And then you've got your camp games. You don't have to take regulation size camp games. A small version of your favorite camp game can be just as fun at 1/8 the size. Ah! Yeah! I consider an electric blanket to be a flat pack item. This replaces bulky bedding, buddy heaters, mummy bags, hot water bottles for staying warm, all those things. And this is different. So those of you who warned me about EMFs and the issues with these blankets, if you can hear here, there's no crinkling. It's smooth, there's no coils. The technology has changed. This is Jar 2. I don't know if there's other brands like this, but it can be easily washed. It has multiple settings, so I can dial it down to use very little watts in there, or I can crank it up to get high heat before I go to bed and right when I wake up. In terms of those EMFs, what I was trying to say is they register. So I'll put the EMFs of this blanket up versus a regular electric blanket. And again, you're out here camping, you're not using it every day, so your exposure to this is extremely low. Then you have lighting. As many of you know, many of my favorite flat pack items are lanterns or lights. This is from Biolite. Unfortunately, they discontinued it, but if you can find it, it is great. It can run off USB or off any Biolite system. And they also make this stuff sack. So this takes your utilitarian flashlight or your headlamp, you put it in here, and now you have a diffusion sack. So you can have not that bright light when dining, when sitting in, reading a book in your teardrop or whatever. This is a nice little addition. Then you've got this guy, a trifold solar panel. And the same goes, a solar blanket is also just as functional. It costs a bit more than this, but this is a lot of space saving. And this is probably the littlest flat packing item I own. It's so little I can't even find it. There it is. Vire stove. So this is a rocket stove. You'll see me using this during winter camping. I also found I don't need a mattress taking up space on this bunk. I got a sleeping pad for kids at REI that fits perfectly in here. So when I'm not using it, I have that entire back counter for hauling gear, organizing gear. I forgot to show this one. This is a collapsible water bottle. So I'm typically taking this on airlines because you can't bring water through security. So this packs nicely in my backpack, and then I can just open it up on the other side, fill it up. But for those of you with smaller tow vehicles, small teardrops, and every inch of space matters, this is pretty thin. So if there's something you think I missed or something you feel like we all shouldn't leave home without, make sure you share that in the comment section. And this gear is gonna make a big difference for you out there. So if we can start sharing, we're all gonna be better off. As usual, guys, have fun out here. Make it simple, make it fit your camping style, and you're never gonna wanna go back to town.